Sentences typically provide information about the timing of actions and events. However, they can also contain information on commonly reoccurring activities like routines, facts, etc. In this video, you will learn the meaning of simple present tense, its structure, and uses in sentences. Simple present tense is the tense that makes reference to habits, statement of facts, as well as things that are always the case, constants. It is also referred to as present simple tense, and is used to express commonly reoccurring activities or events in sentences. For instance, the sun rises in the east. The sentence above contains a present tense, because the information it presents is a factual statement: the sun always rises in the east, and sets in the west. The activity mentioned in the sentence is one that takes place repeatedly, commonly reoccurring. This helps us identify the tense of the sentence as a simple present tense. Structure of simple present tense. While habits, facts, and timetables are important indicators of the tense, it is also crucial to understand the formation process of the tense, its structure. The tense is formed when we have a subject followed by a main verb, either action or stative verbs, in its base form. Take for instance, "You look amazing." The subject of the sentence is the second-person pronoun, you, and it is immediately followed by the stative verb, look, which is the base form of the verb. However, there are cases where the form of the verb in present simple tenses can be slightly altered, to indicate the third person. The third person is the point of view used when a person is being referred to, as opposed to being the speaker, first person, or the addressed, second person. This alteration occurs when s or es is attached at the end of the verb. Take for instance, John goes to school every day. In the sentence above, we have the action verb, goes, indicating the tense. Because the subject of the sentence is in third person, we modify the base form verb, go, by adding es to it, in order to create a third-person variation of the verb. The point of the modification is to establish subject-verb agreement in the sentence. Join our Telegram channel for free daily educational contents, by clicking the link in the video description below. Uses of simple present tense. The following are ways we can use the tense in sentences: affirmative, interrogative, and negative. Affirmative sentence. Also known as positive sentences, we use the tense when forming affirmative sentences. Some examples include: the job is perfect for him. We eat here on Saturday nights. Family night is a good way to bond. Interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence are sentences that request information, as well as used to make inquiries. We use simple present tense in forming interrogative sentences by simply adding the auxiliary verb, do, at the beginning of the sentence, accompanied by the subject and then the verb in its base form. Some examples include: do you come here often? Does she speak Spanish fluently? Do they see each other frequently? You would have correctly observed an anomaly in one of the sentences, which is the use of does instead of do at the beginning of the interrogative sentence in the second example. The fact is, the structure is very much grammatical. The reason we use does in place of do when forming interrogative sentences is for subject-verb agreement. Since the subject of the sentence is a third-person pronoun, she, the verb do, has to be modified by having es added to it to indicate the third person, while the main verb, speak, remains in its base form. The reason being that the presence of the auxiliary verb, do, in interrogative sentences, negates the grammatical properties of other verbs, reducing them to their base form. Since the second example includes a modification of the auxiliary verb, do, to indicate third person, why then was do retained in the third example, even though it also has a third-person subject? The reason for the retention is that the subject of the third example is not just in third person, but also in plural form. Since the plural form of the auxiliary verb do is the same as its base form, we must leave it as it is, without any grammatical modifications. Negative sentence. Negative sentences are the opposites of positive sentences, and they indicate that something is no longer the case. The simple present tense applies to this type of sentence, and is formed when the auxiliary verb do, and the negator not, or a contraction of the words, as in don't, are added after the subject of a sentence, when the main verb is either an action verb or a stative verb. Key reminder: adding the auxiliary verb do in any sentence reduces the main verb to its base form. Some examples include: they don't like the new flavor of the cookies. Becky doesn't eat at local restaurants. The principal isn't the only authority in the school. In the third example, you would notice that we do not add the auxiliary verb do after the subject of the sentence like the other two preceding it. The reason for this is that the main verb of the third example is a linking verb, is, belonging to the family of the verb to be, and such verbs can create their negative forms without the help of the auxiliary do. We simply create a contraction of the verb with the negator not, as in isn't. In English, the tense that is used to indicate habit, factual statements, and things that are always the case in sentences is known as simple present tense. The tense follows the structure, subject plus base form verb, or in the case of third-person subjects, subject plus verb in base form plus s or es. Also, the tense is usually present in the following types of sentences: affirmative, interrogative, and negative. Understanding the simple present tense will better inform you on how to use them effectively in writing and speaking. See you soon.